Without further ado, I've been an entrepreneur in one form or the other for the past decade. I've made six figures in both as a pro trader and in corporate sales. I've started, I think, six businesses. I've got a lot of experience in terms of making money, and I've had some successes. I've also had a ton of failures, made a ton of mistakes. And basically in this video, I want to give you my knowledge so that one, you don't make the same mistakes. And what I really want to do is I want to be able to take a decade off your learning curve, let me have failed for you, made the mistakes for you so that you don't have to, and so that you can avoid the 90% failure rate of most businesses. I failed in a lot of businesses, and I can tell you it's really not fun, and I want you to be able to avoid that. So with that said, the majority of this advice is not for guys trying to build the next Facebook, okay? The majority of my stuff, both in entrepreneurship and in all the other stuff I do on RLD, is for guys who are 18 to 35, you know, your average guy, and who want to get out of the rat race and want to build your own business, okay? My goal is to get you to six figures a year, or the developing world equivalent, which over here in Southeast Asia is about $4,000 a month, or 40 grand a year. And after that, you can decide where you want to go. Okay, you can decide your own path after that. I want to get you to six figures. I want you to not make the same mistakes that I've made, and I want to make sure that ideally your first business or the business you're working on is a success. Okay, so if you do want to build the next great tech startup, you want to build a $40 million business, I have included some advice for you based on my experience with my tech startup. Okay, that failed, but there is still some advice there. But with that said, that advice is for the truly exceptional guy, okay? And I'll define exceptional later on in this video. For most guys, however, building that tech startup is not the right move, for myself included, okay? I'm including myself in that, in that I'm not exceptional enough to build that $40 million tech business, okay? And if you are exceptional and you do want to build that $40 million tech business, I'd suggest you keep the advice in mind that I'm going to break down for you in the video, but you're going to have to look to guys who have succeeded on that level to give you the roadmap. You know, the venture capitalist blogs, the Silicon Valley blogs, the types of books written by those guys is where you're going to have to look for that, because I can't take you there. But I do have some advice for you if you are exceptional, and I'm also going to give you the criteria to see if you are that exceptional guy, because believe me, thinking that you're exceptional in that area and going into that business can cost you 2 or 3 years of your life if you're not, all right? So that's an important thing to understand. So without further ado, to succeed in business, the first thing you need to know is what to expect, okay? What to expect. And to start on what to expect building a profitable business to be the hardest thing that you've ever done, okay? You don't know what hard work is until you've built a profitable business. You think you do, but you don't. The only comparison I have to actually building and succeeding in business was working in corporate sales. Succeeding in sales is very difficult. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of stress. That's the only equivalent that I know of. But whether it's succeeding in sales or building your first profitable business, it's going to be the hardest thing that you've done with your life. Okay, so forget all that entrepreneur porn that you read. They tell you it's hard, but you really don't know how hard it's going to be. Okay, school and regular jobs are a joke in comparison. Getting in shape doesn't compare. Getting girls doesn't compare. Do not let the entrepreneur porn fool you. Building a winning business is way harder than you think. Even if you think it's going to be hard, even if you have conservative estimates, it's going to be 10 times. You're going to have to put in 10 times more work than you think you're going to do. Okay, let's say you want to succeed in real estate. 90% of people fail in real estate because they think that 4 calls a day is going to get them there, when in reality, for your first year or two, you should be looking at doing 400 calls a day, all right? 400 calls a day plus advertising, plus servicing your clients, plus learning the hell out of your industry is what you need to be doing, okay? And don't think, 400 calls a day, that's so much. I did 400 calls a day in a minimum wage call center with like a $3 bonus per close, on a 6-hour shift when I needed money. Okay, you can do 400 calls a day on your real estate business. You can just get the phone book out and just start banging out leads out of the phone book, right? Or you can tailor into the leads or whatever. But I mean, expect to be putting in that work. I mean, I get emails from guys like, Will, I started a service business. It's been 2 months. It's hard. I'm thinking of quit. I was like, dude, man, give it 2 years and not be making 5 calls a day, making 300-400 calls a day and emails and all that stuff. All right. So don't get me wrong. It gets way, way easier. Like now I'm 5 years into RLD and I cannot do any work for 3 months and I'll still be making the same amount of money every month because of all the passive income I built. But that comes after years of work and experience. Okay. So expect a tough grind for the first 2 years. That's going to stretch you to your limits and beyond your limits. What not to do. Okay, so now you know what to expect. I'm going to tell you what not to do. The first thing you do is you don't go into debt for your business. You don't go into debt for anything. It's just not good. The only good kind of debt is if you're a CEO of a billion-dollar corporation and you can borrow as much as you want because you don't have to pay it back and you're not liable for it and you're still going to take home your $30 million bonus that year. Okay, for the small business owner, don't do it. I mean, I hear about guys going 100K into debt for a Subway franchise that might earn you 15%. It's going to take you, 6 months to a year to market. You're going to hope that you found the right location. If you didn't find the right location, all the advertising in the world is not going to get you business. It's going to be over. You're going to be 100 grand down and you're going to have to keep putting money into that every month. I mean, just say no to debt. Instead, save your money, master your skill, learn how to sell, and throw it all into a low overhead, low expense business, at least for your first business, okay? Next point on what not to do is don't start a business with high upfront costs. So in this day and age, bricks and mortar or franchise style business, as I said before, Subway style or opening McDonald's, whatever, to me are definitely a no. But you probably know that if you've been reading entrepreneur stuff. You might be looking at drop shipping either through your site or through Amazon FBA or eBay or AliExpress. I know guys making money in all those different areas. I know a guy made a ton of money in AliExpress, Brian from losertowinner.com. But it's important to understand the cost before you jump in, okay? So I took a shot at Amazon FBA. It took us about $4,000 to get to markets, 3 months to get there, and then no one wanted our product. Because by the time we got in there, our store was cannibalized by a bunch of other FBA drop shippers who weren't there when we first found the niche. So for most Amazon FBA stores, you're looking at 2 to 3 shots to build a successful store, especially if you're not particularly business savvy, if you haven't been an entrepreneur for too long. So you're really going to be looking at like $12,000 and 6 to 8 months of your time because your first 2 stores probably aren't going to work. Okay, so you're looking at $12,000 and AliExpress. Okay, if you want to drop ship on AliExpress, you got to put a lot of money into the Facebook ads. You're looking at $3K to $15K of upfront advertising before you even find out if you found a winner. And you might not find a winner, so you might drop $15K on 4K on one product, another 4K on another product, another 4K on another product, and none of them hit, and you're $15,000 down. All right, that's just, you got to know those costs up front, and neither of those are a lot of money up front if you're rich, okay? But if you don't have a lot of money, $12,000 is a lot of money, especially if you're just starting out a business. And that could have taken you a couple of years to save up that money depending on what kind of job you have. And then when you invest in a business like that and you lose all your money, now you got to go back to the corporate world for another 2 years, stack your cash, build a new business. The opportunity cost is like 2 years. I mean, the time cost, all kinds of things can really hurt you there when you don't succeed on your first business. That's why I think a service-based business is better because there's very low overhead costs, just basically internet and phone connection. And you can take shots on the e-commerce business once you've built a 6-figure service-based business, right? You can just take out, you're making $10,000 a month, you can take $4,000 out a month, get someone else to do a lot of the grinding for you and take a shot that way. Especially true if you're geo-arbitraging your income. So you've got a service business, but you're living in Asia, and now $10K a month is worth the equivalent of $30K a month in the West, right? So that's one thing you got to keep in mind. So definitely no for the big, $100,000 investment businesses. Maybe for the e-com, But again, if you don't have a lot of money, when you're looking at 10 to 15K, that might not be your best move for your first business. But we're going to get into a little bit about the e-com and what I think is your best starter business as we go on.